Good evening, welcome to the news live on Rupavahini Channel I. I'm Sharon Masquinius.
A very good evening to you. I am Dishan Veerakon and here are your headlines for tonight.
Controversy persists over dual citizenship of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sajid Premadasa says that he will not pardon any corrupted person found guilty by the judiciary during his tenure in office. Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka discloses frauds committed by the previous regime. The period granted to receive temporary IDs for the presidential election will end at 12 noon on the 13th. International flights at the Jaffna airport commences. Forest fires in Australia intensify.
On to the stories in detail now, starting off with local news. President Maithripala Sirisena has presented medals to a group of heroic members of the Sri Lanka Air Force who have committed to achieve peace in the country through ending terrorism by a humanitarian operation. The ceremony was held at the President's office. 5 heroic Air Force personnel were felicitated with the Veerodhara Vibhushana awards. Another 3 was presented with Veera Vikrama Vibhushana medals. 15 Air Force personnel were felicitated with the Rana Vikrama medal. 51 personnel have received the Rana Shura medal. President Secretary Uday R. Seneviratne, Defence Secretary Retired General Shanta Kottegoda, Chief of Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijayagunaratne and Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sumangala Dias and senior officials of the Sri Lanka Air Force also attended the ceremony.
Now, President's Counsel Upul Jayasuriya reiterates that Gotabaya Rajapaksa is facing a serious problem regarding the withdrawal of his US citizenship. A group of attorneys at law, including him, made these remarks at a media briefing in Colombo today. President's Counsel Upul Jayasuriya said that the same signature that was in the application handed over in April was seen in the certificate alleged to have withdrawn citizenship. He also said that this means the officer concerned in this issue is a person attached to the embassy. He also said that the list was presented to the second quarter. His name was not included. In the list of the third quarter, there is no mention of Gotabaya Rajapaksa withdrawing his citizenship. He also said that a written order has been presented regarding the parliamentary post of Geeta Kumarasinghe. If Gotabaya Rajapaksa wins, the government has 4 months to dissolve power. During this period, a case could be filed and obtained a verdict. He may lose his portfolio if the charges were proven. There is no evidence for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to say that he has shunned US citizenship. Therefore, it is difficult to believe that he has withdrawn his US citizenship.
Minister Ajit P. Pereira says legal documentation pertaining to abolition of US citizenship of Gotabaya Rajapaksa has not been presented to the Election Commission. He made these remarks to the media after visiting the Election Commission today. The President's Counsel, Ali Sabri, said at a media briefing yesterday that the relevant documents were presented to the Election Commission. President's Counsel Ali Sabri said that when he talked with Gotabaya Rajapaksa on this issue, the 3 commissioners were provided with the relevant documents. He also showed the original embossed seal of the document. Minister Ajit P. Pereira said that several attorneys at law, including President's Counsel Ali Sabri and Mayura Gunavansha, holding a media briefing, said the Election Commission has approved the abolition of US citizenship and Sri Lankan citizenship of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He further said that they came to the Election Commission today to find the true situation pertaining to the issue. He also said that the Election Commissioner has very clearly stated that the Commission has not officially received any documentation relating to the Sri Lanka citizenship or termination of the US citizenship. It has also been pointed that there has not been opportunity to verify the accuracy of any such statements. The minister further said that the chairman of the Election Commission and its members have also stated that the statements made by the attorneys at law at the news briefing yesterday were false.
Now, Venerable Dr. Inguruvatte Sumangala Thera is engaged in a fast for the second day today at the Independence Square premises. The Venerable Thera says that if Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a US citizen, the relevant documents in this connection should be presented to the society via the US Embassy. Venerable Dr. Inguruvatte Sumangala Thera said that doubt has arisen whether Gotabaya Rajapaksa is a Sri Lankan or a US citizen. He further said that an answer to this question has not been provided. He added that if Gotabaya is a US citizen, that would cause injustice to other candidates. He also said that according to his understanding, that the methodology of US imperialism is being used in a sophisticated manner to meddle in other countries. Venerable Inguruvatte Sumangala Thera further said that if Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a US citizen, he should submit the relevant documents across the US Embassy. If he is a dual citizen, such a measure would cause injustice to the other 34 candidates. The Venerable Thera added that therefore a public declaration should be made regarding the fact that Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not a US citizen but a citizen of Sri Lanka. It has also been pointed out that in order to obtain citizenship in a country like America, he has to swear by the Holy Bible. In doing so, he will lose his alignment to Buddhism. Then he would no longer be considered as a Buddhist.
European observers who are currently in Sri Lanka to monitor the presidential election on the 16th of this month have visited this evening the location where Venerable Inguruvatte Sumangala Thera is engaged in a fast unto death. The members were engaged in inquiring the well-being of the Thera engaged in the fast. The Thera is conducting the agitation at the Independence Square premises in Colombo. The Election Observation Mission core team of the 9 EU election analysts have arrived in Colombo on the 5th of October and will stay in the country until the completion of the electoral process. Shortly after the election day, the mission will issue a preliminary statement and hold a media conference in Colombo. A final report, including recommendations for future electoral process, will be presented at a later stage after the finalization of the electoral process.
Now, presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajid Premadasa, says that he will not mediate to free any corrupt individual convicted as an offender by a court of law. He was addressing a public rally at the Galgamua Public Fair today. Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajid Premadasa, said that technical colleges and industrial towns will be commenced on the divisional secretariat division level. He further said that 30 such centres will be implemented in the Kurunegala district. He also said that Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca will be appointed as the Minister of Law and Order and Defence. This will enable them to destroy terrorism. He also said that drug barons will also be destroyed. Ransom politics will also be eliminated. Similarly, murderers, rapists and other criminals will also be destroyed. He further said that any terrorist, drug racketeer or any other criminal convicted by the court of law will not be released when he assumed duties.
අච්චු කරපු ළමා අපචාරකරුවන් මම ජීවිතේට මගේ කාලය තුල නිදහස් කරන්නේ නැතේ කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්න කැමතියි.
Another public rally to establish the victory of Sajid Premadasa was held in Anamadua today. On this occasion, former Jaffna district parliamentarian Dr. Ilyas, who is competing the presidential candidate as an independent candidate has extended support to Sajid Premadasa. Presidential candidate of the NDF, Sajid Premadasa, said that national food production will be taken to an extremely elevated level. Food will not be produced only to meet the country's requirement, but also to export. A national plan will be produced in this connection. Fertilizer will be provided free of charge. The refuse problem in Puttalam will also be resolved under Sajid Premadasa government. Another meeting to consolidate victory of Sajid Premadasa was held in the town of Kadawatha today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has also attended the event. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that they have now embarked on a new era. He also said that the present-day youth are demanding analog. This is the digital generation. He also said that the politicians should also become online politicians. We are in the 4G generation. Very soon we will embark upon the 5G era. We must also be prepared to go for the 6G era. He added that in order to do so, we must elect candidate Sajid Premadasa as president.
අපි සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ඇමතිතුමා ඉදිරිපත් කළා තියෙන්නේ.
Another public rally to establish the victory of Sajid Premadasa was held in Kagol town yesterday. Sajid Premadasa was warmly received by the people on this occasion. Presidential candidate of the NDF, Sajid Premadasa, said that Kotaketana was not one murder case but a series. He has questioned who in charge of security was during this period. He also said that these disgraceful murders were carried out by a Pradesh Sabha member of the Pahotua. The then administration was looking away when women were murdered in a most brutal manner. Justice will be granted to the perpetrators who have abused a female child recently under his government.
නිදොස් කොට නිදහස් ඒ දැරියට කරපු ඒ නින්දිත ක්‍රියාවට 16 වෙනිදා මේ රටේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා හැටියට මට ගන්න පුළුවන් ශක්තිමත්ම තදම පියවර ගන්නට මම කිසිසේත්ම පැකිලෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ.
Meanwhile, the Parliament has unanimously approved a draft bill which punishes frauds and corruptions in sports. Opposition members have attempted on several occasions to prevent the passing of the Act. The National Innovator Representative Institution draft bill was also passed in Parliament today. Minister Haring Fernando said that if anybody wants to punish wrongdoers of sports, any person who is against frauds could speak in this connection. He also said that it is possible to discuss in this debate of any changes to be carried out to make sports field more transparent.
Now, the Presidential Media Division says that presidential pardon has been granted to the convict who has been subjected to life imprisonment over the Rajagiriya Royal Park murder after considering the request of several relevant parties. 34-year-old culprit Jude Anthony Jayamaha has remained in prison for a period of nearly 15 years. A communique issued by the Presidential Media Division says that Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathera has played a key role and had coordinated in obtaining the presidential pardon for the offender. Venerable Ratanathera has informed in writing to the President that the killing has occurred over a love affair and the conduct of the youth during in-prison term had been exemplary. It adds that the convicted youth had pursued education in an excellent manner while in prison. The communique adds that the Venerable Thera has reiterated that if presidential pardon was offered to the offender, it would be on just and humanitarian grounds. Now, in addition, several bhikkhus, including Venerable Baddegama Samita Thera, Venerable Dr. Keradevala Punyaratana Thera, and Catholic Bishop of the Southern Province, Reverend Raymond Wickremesinghe, have also appealed to the President to grant clemency to the youth. The President has also been enlightened on the relevant youth by several attorneys at law and former Supreme Court Judge Rohini Marasinghe. The media communique of the Presidential Media Division says that the death sentence should be turned into a life sentence by a 3-member committee appointed through cabinet approval. It has also been pointed out that numerous special committees have also evaluated recommendations and opinions expressed in this regard. The media report further says that accordingly, the President has granted approval to the release of the youth.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the economic and development plan to build the country is included in his policy statement. He was addressing a public meeting in Kakirava. A series of public rallies of Gotabaya Rajapaksa is being carried out under the theme A Successful Vision and a Working Country. Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that they have built a separate election culture in the country. He also said that they have talked only about policies and they have not conducted mudslinging programs. He also said that they have presented an election manifesto which eliminates poverty and breaches the gap between the haves and the have-not. He said that they have also decided to hand over a free bag of dried food to the low-income recipients until their incomes will increase to a substantial level.
ජීවන බරින් පෙළෙනවා. අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම සමෘද්ධිය ලබන, ඒ වගේම සමෘද්ධියට සුදුසුකම් ලබලා සමෘද්ධිය නොලැබෙන, ඒ වගේම අඩු ආදායමක් ලබන, වයෝවෘද්ධ වුණ, රෝගාතුර වුණ මේ සෑම කොටසක් ගැනම සිතලා නැවත අපේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය ඉහළට ගෙනෙන තුරු වියලි ආහාර සාන මල්ලක් නොමිලේ හැම මාසෙකම ලබා දෙන්නට අපි තීරණය කළා තිබෙනවා.
Another public rally to establish the victory of Gotabaya Rajapaksa was held in Mihintale last evening. Presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, said that they have unleashed many development projects, including carpeted roads, highways, airports, harbours and developing towns. Entrepreneurs have generated jobs in large numbers. He added that, however, that the present government, after coming to power, have halted all such projects. He added that they have presented a clear vision to reconstruct the economy. Another public meeting to consolidate the victory of Gotabaya Rajapaksa was held in Puttalam town today. Presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, said that a special place has been given to refuse management under urban development. He also said that they have conducted a study in the past 4 years of the refuse management technology in the world. They could be used to manufacture fertilizer and to generate electricity. He also said that unlike the present-day practice of bringing garbage to a different area, refuse could be recycled within the relevant areas using the necessary technology.
Now, Minister Patali Champikaranavaka has disclosed several facts pertaining to the frauds and irregularities that had taken place in the sale of lands of the former Army headquarters. He was addressing a media briefing in Colombo today. Minister Patali Champikaranavaka said that Mahinda Rajapaksa had signed the relevant deed utilizing the powers vested on him by the Constitution. He also said that a foreigner has been handed over the properties utilizing the presidential powers. He also said that a further 1.4 hectares had been provided through a second deed, and another deed dated 28 December 2010 had provided further land. The real agreement was signed on the 29th of December 2010. The agreement pertaining to the delivery of ransom money was signed in Singapore through TPL Institute and an institute named Halyard. He also said that TPL is an institute that comes under the purview of the Mihin Lanka Institute, of which Gotabaya was the chairman. Halyard is a subsidiary of the Shangri-La. Rajapaksa received $5 million from Halyard in rupee value, which amounts to 900 billion rupees. They have purchased the Tangol Bay Hotel utilizing these funds. He further said that Mahinda and Gotabaya must answer these questions now. He also said that as a result of the removal of the army headquarters, they were compelled to pay a rent of 42 million rupees. He further said that the army headquarters of 150 years was abandoned. He added that they have in their possession the statements made by Ishara Nayakara and Nimal Pereira in this regard.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anurukumara Dissanayake, says that the rulers who destroyed democracy and carried out a corrupt administration should not be handed back power again. He was addressing a public rally in Gampa yesterday. Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anurukumara Dissanayake, said that one family had ruled the country prior to January 8, 2015. Mahinda had ruled the country and it was Basil Rajapaksa who was in charge of the economy. The entire burden of the security fell on Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Chamal Rajapaksa ruled the parliament. Namal Rajapaksa was in charge of all ministries. The media personnel were afraid to criticize the government. He added that a large number of media personnel left the country. He said that if the people want democracy, they must not elect Rajapaksas. He added that they have destroyed public property and also sold many of them, including the Galle Face, the southern jetty of the Colombo harbour and lands.
Now, Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam says that the present government has been able to create good governance. The President and the Prime Minister has focused attention in this regard at a cabinet meeting held today. He further said that this was the last cabinet meeting of President Maithripala Sirisena. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam said that the President, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet have expressed pleasure over the program being carried forward to usher good governance in the midst of many problems. He further said that they are happy over the fact of not losing any human life or not conducting any shooting under the present regime.
You're watching the news on Rupavahini. Still at home, flights between Jaffna and Chennai are being implemented with effect from today. The Jaffna International Airport was declared open on the 17th of October. Flights from Chennai, India are scheduled to commence at 10:35 in the morning and flights from Jaffna at 12:45 p.m. The air travel between Chennai and Jaffna is scheduled to take place on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. In addition to Chennai flights, flights between Jaffna and Trichy are also scheduled to commence.
Now, presidential candidate of the National People's Movement, General Mahesh Senanayake, says that a special attention has been given to the youth of the country through his election manifesto. He made these remarks during a media briefing in Colombo today.
In our manifesto, we are given a priority for the younger generation whom that they have not received the exact positions or the advantages of being a youngster in this country for the last 71 years. I should say, three major parties, the so-called major parties for the last 71 years, they have never given the opportunity for the youngsters or the male or female to come forward and take the leadership of this country. That is the very reason they have taken arms into their hands, and there had been armed struggles in this country for last many years. We, as a civilian organization, being a political or independent candidate, is the only answer that the Sri Lankan youth will have to come forward and take the leadership of this country. And definitely our manifesto, our policies are made in favor of them in terms of their responsibilities, their employment opportunities, their education opportunities, and even their contribution to the trade and the economy of this country.
Issuance of temporary IDs for the presidential election has been extended till the 12 noon on the 13th of this month. The temporary IDs are being issued for those who do not have validated identity cards to be produced at the election centres. Chairman of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, said that it is compulsory for any voter who come to vote on the 16th of this month to produce an identity card with a photograph to cast their vote. The validated form of IDs are the national ID, the validated driving licence, passport, the ID of the government pensioners and the IDs issued for clergymen. Those who do not have an ID issued by the Department of Registration of Persons or an adult identity card must receive a temporary ID. The period granted to receive temporary IDs was scheduled to end yesterday. However, taking into consideration of the citizens, civil organizations and political parties, it has been decided to extend the deadline to 12 noon on the 13th of this month. Therefore, those who do not have a validated ID, they should obtain temporary ID from the relevant Grama Niladhari or estate superintendent. He also said that, in addition, any document and photograph attested by the signature of the Commissioner General of the Department of Registration of Persons is also eligible for any voter to cast vote at the election.
Meanwhile, the High Commission of India commemorated the 550th birth anniversary of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, which was held recently. The celebrations also coincided with the opening of the Kartarpur corridor. High Commission of India to Sri Lanka Taranjit Singh Sandhu graced the occasion. Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the first Guru and founder of Sikhism, one of the youngest religions in the world. His thought that all men are equal led to a social doctrine which was against discrimination based on caste, religion, race, color or financial status. Sikhism originated in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent in the late 15th and early 16th century AD. It has nearly 30 million followers spread all over the world. It is the world's 5th largest organized religion and the world's 9th largest overall religion. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's birth is celebrated worldwide on the full moon day in the month of Kartak between October and November. Guru Nanak Dev Ji had travelled extensively to all parts of the Indian subcontinent and West Asia. He is reported to have visited Sri Lanka as well. The High Commission of India commemorated this special day with a talk, documentary screening and soulful rendition of Kirtan Ardas by Gyani Ji from Sri Lanka, from Sri Guru Nanak Darbar Gurudwara in Colombo.
Sri Lanka has called for an overarching security architecture tasked to mitigate regional security challenges in the Indian Ocean region, prioritizing the littoral states and sensitive to the interest of all maritime users of the Indian Ocean. Foreign Secretary Ravinath Ariyasinghe made these remarks at the 19th Council of the Ministers meeting of the Indian Ocean Rim Association held in Abu Dhabi recently. Sri Lanka has also called for an active program that encourages cooperation in the fields of security and technology, ensuring that people can reap the maximum out of the dynamics and synergies of the region while supporting sustainable growth. The United Arab Emirates, taking over the South Africa as the chairman of the next 2 years, pledged to work to reinvigorate the goal of creating an IORA development fund. Foreign Secretary Ariyasinghe said Sri Lanka had long realized the importance of a stable and secure maritime environment for national and regional prosperity within Sri Lanka's grand vision for the region. Since the year 2018, Sri Lanka has taken on the responsibility of being the coordinator of the IORA Working Group on Maritime Safety and Security. He said the Colombo meeting held in August 2019 also finalized the draft work plan in which 54 short-term, ongoing and long-term projects were identified. It was also noted that the member states have taken up the responsibility as the lead country for the implementation of 16 projects with the assistance of the IORA Secretariat.
Now, the National Building Research Organization says that the air pollution measure may temporarily increase on the 13th of this month. Senior scientists of the organization said that even if that happens, nobody should be afraid of it. He was addressing a media briefing at the Health Promotion Bureau today. Annually, around 12.6 million persons die worldwide due to air pollution. The World Health Organization said that 3.8 million casualties of this menace are from South Asian countries. The WHO adds that air pollution figures has temporarily increased on the 5th, 6th and the 7th of this month, and it has now returned to normalcy. Health sources reiterates that measures have to be taken to minimize the problems relating to those affected by the disaster.
Especially, there are certain vulnerable groups in terms of adverse health outcomes due to air pollution. Small children, pregnant mothers, and also elderly, and already people with lung diseases and cardiovascular, that is heart diseases, they are at a higher risk of developing adverse health outcomes due to air pollution. Especially this particulate PM 2.5, it is a very small particle, so which can get into the lungs and through to the blood circulation. So therefore it has acute health effects, especially when the particulate levels are high. People can get asthma, allergies, and also upper respiratory tract infections, and even worsening of lower respiratory tract infections. But the most important thing is these particulates, especially PM 2.5, has a lot of long-term adverse health effects. And it's not only the lung or the respiratory system that is affected. According to the World Health Organization, it increases the death from stroke and also heart diseases, heart attacks, and also it contributes to lung cancer and also chronic respiratory tract infection. So it is not only about the non-communicable diseases, but certainly it has a lot of adverse health outcomes for children, especially low birth weight, prematurity, and mental and motor developmental effects in children. And the most important thing thing is, when children are exposed to increased particulates, especially PM 2.5, they are at a higher risk of developing diabetes, heart disease, or stroke at a later stage. So therefore, PM 2.5 can be considered as a killer particle, and it's a silent killer.
And with that, that's a wrap of tonight's primetime news. Until we meet again next time, do take care and good night.